Basics of blockchain technology. So far, we've focused on Litecoin from the outside, how to use it, spend it, invest in it, and where it fits in the crypto world. But now we're shifting gears. Let's pop the hood and look at what's actually happening when you send, receive, or mine Litecoin. And it all starts with one key concept: blockchain. What is a blockchain? At its core, a blockchain is just a digital ledger like a super-powered spreadsheet that keeps track of who owns what. But unlike traditional ledgers, a blockchain is decentralized. No single person or company controls it. Public. Anyone can view it. Immutable. Once a record is written, it can't be changed. It's called a blockchain because it stores data in blocks, and those blocks are linked together in a chain. Each block contains a list of transactions, a timestamp, a reference to the previous block, a proof that the block is valid. We'll get to that soon. And every time a new block is added, the chain gets longer. Hence, blockchain. How Litecoin's blockchain works. Litecoin uses the same basic structure as Bitcoin's blockchain with a few key tweaks. Blocks are added every 2.5 minutes instead of Bitcoin's 10 minutes. It uses a different mining algorithm called Scrypt instead of Bitcoin's SHA-256. These tweaks allow Litecoin to process transactions faster and with lower fees, making it more practical for daily use. Every time you send or receive Litecoin, your transaction gets broadcast to the network, verified by miners, and then included in a new block. Once it's confirmed, that transaction becomes part of the permanent blockchain record, and you're done. What's inside a block? Let's break down what's actually inside a block on the Litecoin blockchain. Block header. This includes metadata like the block version, the previous block's hash, a timestamp, a cryptographic puzzle called a nonce, transaction data. This is the main part, a list of all the transactions included in that block. These are send and receive addresses, amounts of LTC being moved, fees paid, digital signatures proving ownership, Merkle root, a fancy-sounding term that summarizes all the transactions into a single hash like a fingerprint for the block. It helps ensure the data hasn't been tampered with. All of this is bundled together, hashed, and locked in. Once done, the block is broadcast to the network and becomes part of the public ledger. Who adds these blocks? Short answer: miners. They're the ones who compete to add the next block to the Litecoin chain. They do this by solving a cryptographic puzzle, basically a guessing game that requires tons of computational power. Whoever solves the puzzle first gets to add the next block, collect the transaction fees, receive the block reward, currently 6.25 LTC per block, post-2023 halving. This process is called proof of work, and it's what keeps the network secure. We'll go deeper into mining in the next part, but for now, just remember that Litecoin's blockchain is built and maintained by miners, not companies or governments. What makes Litecoin trustworthy? If anyone can use it and no one's in charge, how do we know it won't break, cheat, or collapse? That's the beauty of blockchain tech. Litecoin is open source. Anyone can inspect the code. Auditable. Anyone can trace every transaction back to the first block. We're decentralized. No single point of failure or control. Mathematically secure. Transactions are protected by cryptography, not passwords. And because every transaction is verified by multiple nodes before it's added to the chain, you can't fake a send, double spend your coins, or hack the system without rewriting the entire blockchain, which is basically impossible. Neto, why this matters. You don't need to be a blockchain engineer to use Litecoin, but understanding how it works even at a high level gives you a whole new appreciation for what it can do. Litecoin isn't just digital money. It's a fully autonomous global financial network, one that works 24/7, never takes a day off, and doesn't need permission to operate. That's powerful. Mining Litecoin, how it's created and why it matters. We just learned that Litecoin transactions are grouped into blocks, and those blocks are added to the blockchain by miners. But What exactly is mining? Who does it? And why do people spend thousands of dollars on machines just to earn a few coins? Let's break it all down step by step and make mining make sense. What is mining? At its core, mining is how new Litecoins are created and how the network stays secure. When someone sends LTC, that transaction needs to be verified and added to the blockchain. But before that can happen, miners have to validate it, and they do that by competing in a kind of cryptographic lottery. Whoever wins gets to add the next block to the blockchain, receive a reward, newly minted Litecoin transaction fees. This process is called proof of work, POW, and it's how Litecoin protects the network from fraud, spam, and fake transactions. How the mining process works. In simple terms, let's walk through what happens. You send Litecoin to someone, maybe to pay for a service or just as a gift. That transaction is broadcast to the Litecoin network. It sits in a waiting area called the mempool, a list of unconfirmed transactions. Miners collect a bunch of these transactions and try to build the next block. To add that block, they need to solve a math puzzle, which takes a lot of trial and error. The first miner to find the correct answer wins, adds the block, and broadcasts it to the rest of the network. All the other computers agree that the new block is valid, and it becomes part of the blockchain. The winning miner gets a block reward, currently 6.25 LTC. This happens about every 2.5 minutes, over and over, day and night. What are they actually solving? Okay, so what is this puzzle we keep talking about? It's a cryptographic challenge based on a hashing algorithm. In Litecoin's case, the algorithm is called Scrypt. Miners try to find a special number called a nonce that, when combined with the block data, produces a hash with a certain number of leading zeros. It's not really about skill, it's about computing power and luck. The more powerful your mining equipment, the more guesses you can make per second, and the better your chances of solving the puzzle first. What do you need to mine Litecoin? Back in 2011, you could mine Litecoin with a basic laptop. Not anymore. Today, serious miners use ASICs, application-specific integrated circuits. Powerful machines built just for mining. Mining software to connect to the network and manage your hardware. A Litecoin wallet to receive your rewards. Mining pools, groups of miners that share resources and split rewards. Solo mining is possible, but very hard. That's why most people join pools. It's easier to earn consistent rewards, even if they're smaller. What is the mining reward? As of the 2023 halving, the block reward is 6.25 LTC per block. This reward cuts in half every 840,000 blocks, roughly every 4 years. Eventually, when the final Litecoin is mined, sometime around 2142, miners will earn only from transaction fees, not new coins. This system, 9, controls the supply of new LTC, creates scarcity, keeps inflation in check. Just like Bitcoin, Litecoin has a hard cap, only 84 million coins will ever exist. Why is mining important? Mining isn't just about earning coins, it's the foundation of Litecoin security. Here's what it does. Prevents double spending, so you can't send the same coin twice. Keeps the ledger accurate, every block builds on the last one. Makes fraud extremely difficult, changing one block means remining every block after it, which would take insane amounts of power. The more miners on the network, the more secure Litecoin becomes. That's why decentralization and strong mining activity are so important. Is mining still worth it? It depends. If you have access to cheap electricity, can afford powerful ASIC machines, understand the risks and setup costs, then it might be profitable. But for casual users or beginners, it's often better to just buy Litecoin and store it safely. Mining is a business now, and like any business, it requires upfront investment, maintenance, and risk management. And why merged mining with Dogecoin. One fun fact, Litecoin and Dogecoin use the same mining algorithm Scrypt. So miners can actually mine both at the same time in a process called merged mining. This doesn't cost extra electricity, helps secure both networks, makes mining more efficient, It's a unique relationship between two very different coins, one built for payments, the other born as a joke, but they work together behind the scenes. Final thoughts on Litecoin mining. Mining might sound technical, but it's really about keeping the system honest and secure. Without miners, there's no network, no blocks, no Litecoin. Whether you mine or not, it's good to understand the role mining plays in the ecosystem. It's what makes Litecoin truly decentralized, not controlled by banks or governments, but by thousands of independent computers around the world, all working together to keep it running. So we've talked about mining, how new Litecoins are created, and blocks are added to the blockchain. But there's another layer working behind the scenes to make sure everything runs smoothly and stays honest. The nodes. No, not the sci-fi kind. We're talking about Litecoin nodes, which are the digital brain cells of the network. Let's break down what they are, what they do, and how they make sure every Litecoin transaction is valid and secure. What is a node? A node is simply a computer that connects to the Litecoin network. Some nodes are run by exchanges, some by miners, some by regular users. If you're running the full Litecoin core software, congratulations, you're running a node. Pull nodes help. Validate transactions. Broadcast new information across the network. Enforce the rules of the protocol. Keep a full copy of the blockchain. In short, they're the reason Litecoin doesn't need a central server. Instead of one computer doing everything, thousands of independent nodes keep everything in sync globally. How transactions work step by step. Let's say you want to send 5 Litecoin to your friend. What happens? Here's a simplified walkthrough. You create the transaction using your wallet app. It includes your public address, your friend's address, the amount, and a digital signature. Your wallet broadcasts it to the network. It goes to a few nearby nodes first. Those nodes check it for validity. Do you actually have 5 LTC to send? Is your digital signature legit? Is this LTC already spent? If it's valid, nodes pass it to others like a chain reaction. It spreads across the whole network in seconds. Miners pick it up and include it in a block they're trying to solve. Once mined, the block is added to the blockchain and your friend receives the Litecoin. The transaction becomes permanent. All of that usually happens in under 3 minutes. How do nodes keep everyone honest? Nodes play a critical role in enforcing the rules of the Litecoin blockchain. They reject anything that tries to double spend coins, breaks the consensus rules, like invalid block size or wrong signatures, comes from an outdated version of the software, and they do this automatically, 24/7. Even if a miner tries to cheat, by including a bad transaction in a block, the rest of the nodes will simply reject that block. It's like a voting system. If enough nodes agree a block is valid, it gets added. If they don't agree, it's rejected. That's how Litecoin maintains trust without a central authority. Types of nodes. There are a few different types of nodes in the Litecoin network. Full nodes. Keep a complete history of every transaction since the beginning. Help verify the blockchain's integrity. Essential for true decentralization. Light nodes, SPV nodes. Found in mobile wallets or lightweight apps. Don't store the whole blockchain, just summaries. Quicker, but rely on full nodes to confirm details. Mining nodes. These are full nodes with mining hardware attached. Compete to solve blocks and earn rewards. Together, all these nodes form a massive peer-to-peer network that never goes offline. Why decentralization matters. So why does all of this node stuff matter? Because it gives Litecoin censorship resistance. No one can block your transactions. Security, no single point of failure. Transparency. Anyone can verify the entire blockchain. Reliability. Even if some nodes go down, the network keeps running. There's no bank or government overseeing anything. Just math, code, and a global network of volunteers keeping the system alive. That's the power of decentralization, and nodes make it possible. Can anyone run a node? Yes, if you've got a computer with enough storage, a good internet connection, some technical patience, You can run your own Litecoin node using Litecoin Core. It's not required to use LTC, but running a node helps support the network and gives you a direct, unfiltered view of the blockchain straight from the source. Final thoughts on nodes and transactions. Litecoin's strength doesn't just come from mining, speed, or low fees. It comes from the thousands of nodes around the world, quietly syncing data, checking math, and enforcing rules, all without permission, profit, or central control. And that's what makes Litecoin a true peer-to-peer system. It's powered by code, not corporations, by logic, not luck. So the next time you send a few LTC, remember, behind that simple transfer is a world of elegant engineering working together in real time. Speed, fees, scalability. Why Litecoin is built for transactions. So now you know how Litecoin runs under the hood, the miners, the nodes, the blocks, and how your LTC moves from wallet to wallet. But let's zoom out a bit and talk about performance. Because one of Litecoin's biggest selling points since the beginning has been how fast and cheap it is compared to other cryptocurrencies. In this part, we'll break down how fast Litecoin really is, how its fees stay so low, what makes it scalable, and how it compares to coins like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Transaction speed. Let's start with speed. One of the biggest complaints about Bitcoin is that it's slow, often taking 10 minutes or more to confirm a transaction. Litecoin fixes that. Litecoin block time, 2.5 minutes. Bitcoin block time, 10 minutes. That means Litecoin confirms transactions 4x faster than Bitcoin. What does this mean for you? Your payments go through quickly. You're less likely to overpay on fees due to network congestion. It feels more like real-time money. And for merchants and businesses, that speed makes a huge difference when processing lots of payments throughout the day. Transaction fees. Next up, fees. Litecoin's average transaction fee is typically a few cents or less, even when the network is busy. Compare that to Bitcoin. Can go over $5 or $10 during congestion. Ethereum can spike to $20 plus depending on gas fees and smart contract use. Litecoin stays cheap and predictable. It doesn't matter whether you're sending $5 or $5,000, the fee will likely stay under a rupee's worth in India or under a dime in the US. This is what makes Litecoin practical. You don't need to think about gas prices or surge costs, it just works. What makes Litecoin so efficient? Let's look at a few reasons why Litecoin is so good at handling everyday transactions. Faster block time. Blocks are confirmed every 2.5 minutes, which means transactions get picked up quickly and don't sit in the mempool for long. Simple use case. Litecoin doesn't try to do everything. It's not bloated with smart contracts or DeFi protocols. It's focused on payments, and that keeps it light and fast. SegWit integration. Litecoin was actually one of the first major coins to activate segregated witness, or SegWit, which optimizes space in each block, allowing more transactions per block. Mature network. With years of real-world use and a strong infrastructure of miners and nodes, Litecoin can handle a lot of traffic without getting bogged down. Now, what about scalability? Scalability is a fancy way of asking, can this thing grow without breaking? In crypto, scalability problems usually mean slow confirmations, high fees, or even total network failure when overloaded. Litecoin has never really had those problems. It doesn't get congested easily, and when it does, the impact is minimal. And while it doesn't use fancy scaling tricks like sharding or rollups, it doesn't need them yet because it already runs smoothly for its intended use case. Plus, with optional features like MWEB for private transactions, Litecoin is getting even more efficient at managing on-chain activity. Litecoin versus Bitcoin versus Ethereum. Quick comparison. Here's how Litecoin stacks up against the other two big players. Feature Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum. Block time approximately 2, 5 minutes approximately, 10 minutes approximately, 13-15 seconds. AVG, fees 5 cents, $1. $20 plus $5. $100 plus. Supply cap 84 million, 21 million, no cap. Smart contracts, no basic. No yes. Privacy optional. Web. No. Public by default. Speed fast, slow fast, but costly. So while Ethereum is great for smart contracts and Bitcoin is king of store value, Litecoin carves out its niche as a fast, affordable, and stable payment coin. It's not trying to do everything. It's just trying to do one thing really, really well. Real-world use cases for fast, cheap transactions. Here's where Litecoin shines in real life. Cross-border payments. Send money internationally in minutes with almost no fees. Online shopping. Many websites accept Litecoin, faster than Bitcoin, and cheaper than credit cards. Tipping and donations. Perfect for micro-transactions like tipping a creator 50 cents or donating to a cause. ATM withdrawals. Litecoin is supported by many crypto ATMs around the world, paying friends or freelancers, especially when they're in another country or don't use traditional banks. It's not just internet magic money. Litecoin is being used every day by real people for real things. Final thoughts on Litecoin's performance. Speed and low fees aren't flashy features. You don't see headlines like, Litecoin just confirmed in 2.5 minutes again. But that consistency, that quiet reliability, is exactly what makes Litecoin a true contender for everyday crypto use. It's not here to shock the world. It's here to serve the world with fast, cheap, secure transactions that don't slow down or break when things get busy. Let's talk about something that often gets overlooked in the world of digital payments: privacy. In traditional finance, your bank sees everything you do. Every swipe, transfer, or transaction is tracked, recorded, and let's be real, often sold. Even in crypto, most blockchains are transparent by default. Anyone can view any transaction, balance, or wallet address just by searching the blockchain. That's where Litecoin's big privacy upgrade comes in Web. In this part, we'll explain what Web is, how it protects your privacy, why it's a game changer for Litecoin, and how it's different from other privacy coins. What is Web? Web stands for Mimblewimble Extension Blocks. Yeah, the name sounds like something out of Harry Potter, and it kind of is. The original Mimblewimble protocol was named after a tongue-tying spell. But in crypto terms, it's a privacy and fungibility upgrade that makes Litecoin transactions more private, if you want them to be. Here's how it works. Extension blocks are optional, private blocks that run alongside the main Litecoin blockchain. You can choose to send your Litecoin into the Web layer, where amounts are hidden, wallet addresses are not publicly visible, transaction history is obfuscated. Then the recipient can either keep it in Web or bring it back to the public chain, all while keeping things fast and secure. Why is this a big deal? Most major coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and even Litecoin, before Web, are fully transparent. That means anyone can see how much you sent, anyone can see who received it, anyone can trace your entire wallet history. While this is great for auditing and openness, it's not ideal for privacy or financial safety. Imagine paying someone in Bitcoin or Ethereum, and they can now see your entire transaction history, balance, and who you've paid before. That's kind of creepy. Web fixes that by giving users the choice to make transactions private, without switching to a totally different coin like Monero or Cash. How Web works, without getting too technical. We'll keep it simple. Mimblewimble uses a clever math trick. It doesn't record individual addresses or balances like normal blockchains. Instead, it combines transactions in a way that makes them mathematically valid, without revealing any private details. The result? You know a transaction happened, and that the math checks out, but not how much was sent, or between who. It's kind of like, we know $100 was spent somewhere, but not who spent it, where it went, or how much was left over. And because it runs as an extension block, it doesn't interfere with Litecoin's regular blockchain meaning. You can still use normal LTC if you want full transparency. You can opt into Mimblewimble when you want privacy. Why not just use privacy coins? Great question. Coins like Monero and Cash are built for privacy from the ground up, and they do it well. But they come with trade-offs. They're often harder to list on exchanges. They sometimes face legal restrictions or bans. They can't offer both public and private options. It's all or nothing. Litecoin takes a middle path. You get mainstream acceptance and exchange support, like a regular coin. But you also get optional privacy when you need it. That balance is rare, and it's one of the reasons why MoWeb is such a powerful upgrade. What MoWeb does not do. Just to be clear, MoWeb isn't meant to help criminals hide illegal transactions. It's designed to protect everyday users' financial privacy in a world that's becoming more and more invasive. Also, MWeb isn't a mix or a tumbler. It's not a secret dark web feature. It's a legitimate optional upgrade that improves fungibility, meaning one LTC is always equal to any other LTC, no matter its history. Cool. This matters for business, for security, and for personal freedom. How to use MWeb. Right now, MWeb is available on wallets that support MWeb-enabled Litecoin core nodes. Not all wallets or exchanges support it yet, since it's optional. But more support is rolling out over time, especially in self-custody wallets. To use it, you send LTC into the MWeb layer, just like a normal transaction. It gets processed privately. The recipient can hold or spend it just like regular LTC or bring it back to the public chain. It's smooth, easy, and built directly into the network. Final thoughts on MWeb privacy. Litecoin has always been about practical use, fast, cheap, and easy payments. But now with MWeb, it's taking that a step further by giving you control over your financial privacy. In a world where surveillance is everywhere and data is constantly harvested, this kind of tech isn't just nice to have. It's necessary. You shouldn't have to choose between convenience and privacy. With Litecoin, you don't have to. Using Litecoin, wallets, addresses, sending LTC made simple. All right, we've covered mining, blocks, nodes, and even privacy. But now let's bring things down to earth and talk about what you actually do with Litecoin. How do you store it, send it, receive it, keep it safe? This part is all about real-world usage, the hands-on side of Litecoin that makes it work like money. What is a Litecoin wallet? A wallet is simply a tool, an app, website, or physical device that lets you send, receive, and store Litecoin. But here's the important part. Your Litecoin isn't inside the wallet. It's stored on the blockchain. The wallet just gives you access to it using your private keys. Think of your wallet like a keychain. Each key opens access to a specific amount of LTC recorded on the blockchain. Public versus private keys. Every Litecoin wallet has two essential parts. Public key, address. This is like your email address. You give it to others so they can send you LTC. It looks like a long string of letters and numbers, starting with L, M, or sometimes LTC1, private key. This is your secret password that proves you own the coins. You never share this with anyone. If someone gets your private key, they can steal your coins, no refunds. Most wallets hide the private key and show you something easier to manage. A 12 or 24-word recovery phrase. Types of Litecoin wallets. There are several kinds of wallets, and they each have pros and cons. 1. Mobile wallets. Apps like LiteWallet, Trust Wallet, Exodus. Easy to use, great for beginners. Good for small amounts. 2. Desktop wallets. Installed on your computer. More control and security. Great for medium holdings. 3. Hardware wallets. Physical USB-like devices like Ledger or Tracer. Offline storage, maximum security. Ideal for large holdings. 4. Paper wallets. Just a printed copy of your keys. No software, no hacking risk. But risky if you lose or damage the paper. 5. Web wallets exchange. Wallets. Provided by exchanges like Binance, Coinbase. Convenient, but not ideal for long-term storage. Not your keys, not your coins. Remember that. How to send Litecoin. Here's a step-by-step example of how to send LTC. Open your wallet app, tap. Send. Enter the recipient's LTC address. Type the amount you want to send. Review the network fee, usually just a few cents. Confirm and send, boom. The transaction gets broadcast to the network, and the recipient will see it within seconds. Fully confirmed in 2.5 minutes or so. It's way faster and cheaper than bank transfers, especially across countries. How to receive Litecoin. Receiving is even easier. Open your wallet, tap Receive. Share your LTC address or scan the QR code. The sender enters that address, sends LTC, and you're good to go. You don't need to be online or do anything special to receive Litecoin. It'll show up in your wallet once confirmed. Safety tips for wallets. Keeping your Litecoin safe is your responsibility. There's no Litecoin customer support to undo a mistake. Here are some quick safety tips. Write down your recovery phrase and store it offline. Never share your private key or phrase with anyone. Use two-factor authentication if your wallet offers it. Don't keep large amounts on exchanges, only what you trade. Consider a hardware wallet for serious holdings. Remember, once LTC is sent, it can't be reversed. Always double-check addresses before hitting send. What can you do with Litecoin? Besides sending and storing, here are a few ways people actually use Litecoin. Buy things online from merchants who accept LTC, pay freelancers or employees, tip creators or streamers, donate to causes, invest or trade on exchanges, move money across borders instantly. Litecoin is fast, cheap, and widely accepted, which makes it practical for real-world payments and not just speculation. Final thoughts on wallets usage. Using Litecoin isn't complicated. You don't need to be a tech genius. If you've ever used a banking app or a payment service like Paytm, Venmo, or UPI, you already get the basic idea. The difference is, you control your own money. It's global. It works 24/7. And no one can freeze or reverse your funds. That's the power of Litecoin and crypto in general. Global adoption, where and how Litecoin is really being used. So far, we've covered the inner workings of Litecoin from mining to transactions, wallets to privacy. Now let's talk about something even more exciting. Where is Litecoin actually being used in the real world? And how is it helping real people and businesses across the globe? Spoiler: Litecoin isn't just sitting in wallets waiting to go up in value. It's being used every day by people for payments, remittances, donations, and more. Let's explore how this digital silver is gaining traction worldwide. Litecoin for everyday payments. One of Litecoin's biggest real-world strengths is that it actually works like money. It's fast, cheap, easy to send, and that makes it perfect for everyday payments. Thousands of online and in-store merchants already accept Litecoin, including e-commerce stores, restaurants and cafes, tech shops, freelance service platforms. Thanks to integrations with services like BitPay, Now Payments, and Coin Payments, it's easy for businesses to accept Litecoin and get paid directly or even convert it instantly to local currency. Some even give you a discount if you pay an LTC lower fees for them. Better prices for you. Litecoin with mobile apps, payment platforms. You don't need to be a tech geek to use Litecoin. Apps like LiteWallet, official Litecoin Foundation wallet, Coinomi, Trust Wallet, Exodus, Binance Pay, make it super easy to pay friends, scan QR codes, send money to family, or buy things online. Some platforms even offer debit cards that let you spend Litecoin anywhere Visa or MasterCard is accepted. It works like a prepaid card, just top it up with LTC and swipe. That's next-level convenience. Cross-border payments, remittances. One of Litecoin's biggest real-world impacts is in sending money across countries. Traditional remittance services, like Western Union or SWIFT, take days, charge huge fees, involve tons of paperwork. Litecoin sends money in minutes, costs pennies, no banks, no delays, no stress. This is especially powerful in regions like Latin America, Africa, Southeast Asia, Eastern Europe. People use Litecoin to send money to family, pay freelancers or remote workers, move wealth out of unstable currencies, avoid high inflation and banking restrictions. And since Litecoin is available 24/7, you're not limited by banking hours or time zones. Litecoin at ATMs. Want to turn your Litecoin into cash? No problem. Thousands of crypto ATMs around the world support Litecoin. In countries like the US, Canada, parts of Europe, and even some Asian cities, you can insert cash and buy LTC, or scan a QR code and withdraw cash using your Litecoin. Some of these machines are even popping up in convenience stores and malls. It's becoming more and more accessible every year. Adoption by exchanges, payment providers. Litecoin is also a favorite among major exchanges and financial platforms. It's listed on almost every major crypto exchange: Binance, Coinbase, Kraken, Bitfinex, KuCoin, OKX, WazirX, India, CoinDCX India, and many more. That means people can buy, sell, and trade Litecoin easily in nearly every country with crypto access. Plus, many exchanges and wallets allow instant swaps between LTC and other coins, making it a great bridge currency for trading. Business integration. From small shops to big brands, Litecoin is gaining adoption. Some examples: web hosting companies accept LTC, VPN providers like NordVPN support crypto, travel sites like Travalo let you book flights and hotels with Litecoin, online game stores and the app developers are adding LTC payment options. And behind the scenes, Litecoin's low fees and fast confirmations make it a solid option for microtransactions useful in gaming, streaming, tipping, and content platforms. Grassroots and community use. In countries where inflation is out of control, like Venezuela, Turkey, Argentina, or Zimbabwe, Litecoin has become a tool for economic survival. People use it to store savings in something more stable, trade directly with others, escape broken banking systems. And unlike gold or cash, you can carry Litecoin on a phone, a USB drive, or even memorize your recovery phrase, no border guards or baggage needed. Litecoin has also been used for disaster relief donations, helping people receive emergency funds quickly without going through red tape. Final thoughts on real-world adoption. Here's the thing. Litecoin isn't the flashiest crypto. It doesn't have a meme coin mascot, or wild headlines, or billion-dollar NFT sales. But while other projects come and go, Litecoin quietly keeps getting used. That's the ultimate test. Because in the end, the goal of cryptocurrency wasn't just to speculate. It was to build a better money, one that's open, fast, affordable, and accessible to everyone. And that's exactly what Litecoin delivers. Security, development, and how Litecoin stays alive. You've learned a lot about Litecoin by now: how it works, how people use it, how fast it is, and even how it protects privacy. But there's still one big question. What keeps Litecoin running year after year? Who makes updates? Who fixes bugs? And how does it stay secure? Good news. We're answering all that right here. This part is about the engine behind the scenes, the people, systems, and strategies that keep Litecoin trustworthy and functional in an ever-changing world. Sukos, how is Litecoin secured? Security in crypto isn't about passwords or antivirus software. It's about math, network power, and decentralized consensus. Litecoin is secured by proof-of-work mining, thousands of full nodes, decentralized validators, open source code that anyone can inspect. Here's how that plays out. 1. Proof of work. Litecoin miners solve complex puzzles using computer power. It's expensive and time-consuming, which makes it nearly impossible for attackers to take over the network. 2. Distributed network. Litecoin isn't hosted on a single server or company. It runs on thousands of computers all over the world. Even if some nodes go offline, the network keeps going. 3. No central point of failure. There's no CEO, no headquarters, and no kill switch. If one part of the system goes down, the rest keeps working. 4. Cryptographic protection. Every transaction, block, and wallet address is secured with strong cryptography. Unless you know the private key, you can't spend someone else's coins. Period. Who maintains the Litecoin code? Unlike some corporate-backed projects, Litecoin is developed and maintained by a volunteer-driven, open-source community. The core development team is led by Charlie Lee, Litecoin's creator. The Litecoin Foundation, independent developers and contributors around the world. All changes to Litecoin's code are proposed publicly, reviewed by the community, tested before being added to the live network. The code lives on GitHub, where anyone can audit it, submit fixes, or request new features. This kind of open development model ensures transparency and accountability, no secret deals or backroom changes. How do upgrades happen? Sometimes Litecoin needs to evolve to add features, improve performance, or patch security flaws. When that happens, the process goes like this. Idea phase. A developer or community member proposes an improvement, like faster transactions or a privacy upgrade. Discussion. The idea is debated in public forums, on GitHub, Reddit, Twitter, developer calls, and Telegram groups. Development. If the idea gets support, devs begin building the upgrade in test environments. Testing. The change is tested in Litecoin's testnet, a sandbox version of the blockchain that won't affect real coins. Optional activation. Many upgrades require user support, meaning wallet providers, miners, and nodes must install the new version. Soft fork or hard fork. A soft fork keeps backward compatibility. Older clients can still work. A hard fork creates a break in the blockchain, not common in Litecoin's history. Most of Litecoin's upgrades have been soft forks, smooth, community-driven changes that don't cause drama. Example, MWeb upgrade, the Mimblewimble extension blocks, MUAB. Privacy upgrade is a great example of how Litecoin handles big changes. It was proposed by developers years before activation. It underwent years of development, testing, and review. It required node operators and miners to opt in by upgrading their software. It launched in 2022 quietly, successfully, and with zero forks or splits. That kind of smooth rollout shows just how mature and stable Litecoin's development culture is. How Litecoin fights threats. Like any digital system, Litecoin faces risks. Network attacks, like 51% attacks, spam or denial of service, DOS attacks, code bugs or vulnerabilities, government pressure or regulation. Here's how it defends itself. Massive mining power makes attacks extremely costly. Code reviews catch bugs before they go live. Node decentralization prevents single points of failure. Developer responsiveness helps fix any critical issues fast. Privacy tools like MWeb protect users from surveillance. No single leader means no one can shut it down, even under legal or political pressure. Why Litecoin's simplicity is a strength. Some cryptos try to do everything: smart contracts, NFTs, games, DeFi, AI, and more. Litecoin doesn't. It focuses on payments, speed, security, privacy, stability. That's it. And because of that simplicity, Litecoin is easier to maintain, harder to break, more resistant to hype cycles or tech bloat. It's like a Toyota of crypto. Maybe not flashy, but ultra reliable and built to last. Final thoughts on security development. Litecoin works, and it keeps working because of the dedication of its community, the transparency of its code, and the robustness of its network. There's no billion-dollar company backing it, no ad campaigns, no rug pulls, just clean, solid code, good engineering, and passionate users who believe in open, decentralized money. And that's a rare thing in the crypto world. The economics of Litecoin. Halving, supply, and what gives LTC value. So far, we've covered how Litecoin works, how it's used, and how it stays secure. But let's now look at the money side of things. Because whether you're a user, a miner, or an investor, it's important to understand how Litecoin's economy works, what gives it value, how new coins are created, and why it's designed to be deflationary. Total supply, 84 million coins. First things first, Litecoin has a fixed supply limit of 84 million coins. That's it, forever. No more will ever be created once the cap is reached. This is different from fiat currencies like the US dollar or Indian rupee, where central banks can print more money whenever they want, causing inflation and reducing the value of your savings over time. With Litecoin, the supply is capped. The issuance is predictable. No one can manipulate it. It's built into the code, immutable, hard-coded, non-negotiable. How new Litecoins are created. Litecoins are created through mining rewards. Every time a miner successfully adds a block to the blockchain, they receive a fixed number of newly minted LTC plus transaction fees from the block. This reward is how new coins enter circulation. It's like digital gold being dug up by computers. Halving events. But here's where it gets interesting. Every 4 years, Litecoin goes through a halving event. That means the mining reward is cut in half. Fewer new coins are created each day. Supply growth slows down. For example, in 2011, the block reward was 50 LTC. Then it dropped to 25, then 12.5, and now it's 6.25 LTC per block. As of the most recent halving, the next halving will reduce it to 3.125 LTC per block. Halvings will continue until eventually no more new LTC are created around the year 2142. Why halving matters. Halvings do two big things. Control inflation. With less new LTC entering circulation, supply remains tight. This helps preserve value over time. Unlike fiat currencies that keep inflating, create scarcity. As rewards shrink and fewer coins are left to mine, demand may rise. If demand increases while supply tightens, price can go up, though not guaranteed. It's basic supply and demand. This built-in scarcity makes Litecoin attractive to long-term holders who see it as sound money. What gives Litecoin value? Here's a question people often ask. If Litecoin isn't backed by gold or a government, why does it have value? The answer is simple: utility and trust. Litecoin has value because it's useful, fast, cheap, reliable payments. It's limited in supply. Only 84 million coins ever. It's secure, proven blockchain tech. It's decentralized. No central authority. It's trusted over a decade of history, zero downtime. Just like gold or Bitcoin, Litecoin has value because people agree it does, and because it offers real-world benefits. Inflation versus deflation. Let's compare Litecoin to fiat money. Fiat, like USD, INR, can be printed infinitely, loses value over time due to inflation, controlled by central banks. Litecoin has a fixed cap, gets more scarce over time, is deflationary. Each coin becomes more valuable as supply tightens. This is why many people treat Litecoin as a store of value, not just a way to spend, but a way to save. Litecoin versus Bitcoin. Economics. Let's quickly compare LTC and BTC from a supply standpoint. Feature: Litecoin. Bitcoin, total supply, 84 million, 21 million. Block reward halves every 4 years. Halves every 4 years. Current block reward, 2025. 6.25 LTC, 3.125 BTC, as of 2024 halving. Average block time, 2.5 minutes, 10 minutes. Litecoin has 4x the supply of Bitcoin and confirms transactions 4x faster. So while Bitcoin is the digital gold of crypto, Litecoin acts more like digital silver, useful for smaller, more frequent transactions, but still with long-term store of value potential. What happens when all LTC are mined? Eventually, in about 100 years, all 84 million Litecoins will be mined. So what happens then? Miners will no longer earn new coins as rewards. Instead, they'll be compensated entirely by transaction fees. But don't worry, fees will likely rise slightly to support the network. Mining will continue as long as it's profitable. The network will remain secure as long as there's demand to use Litecoin. By that time, most of the LTC supply will have been circulating for decades, and the network will likely be extremely efficient. Final thoughts on Litecoin's economic design. Litecoin's economic model is built for stability, longevity, and fairness. No inflation, no money printer, no central bank. Just simple, sound rules. Fixed supply, predictable halvings, transparent reward schedule, a free market that determines value. It's the kind of system many people wish their national currency followed. Litecoin may not be the flashiest asset, but it's one of the most disciplined. Litecoin's role in the crypto world, past, present, what's next? We've covered a lot from mining and wallets to speed, security, privacy, and economics. Now let's zoom out and ask the big question. Where does Litecoin fit into the future of crypto? After all, it's one thing to work well on paper, but with thousands of coins out there, what gives Litecoin a lasting place in this fast-moving industry? Let's break it down. A legacy of reliability. First, some perspective. Litecoin launched in October 2011. That makes it one of the oldest cryptocurrencies still running, second only to Bitcoin in age and reputation. Over a decade later, it's never been hacked. It's never gone offline. It's processed hundreds of millions of transactions without drama. In a world where many projects rug pull, break, or vanish in 2 years, that kind of consistency speaks volumes. A testbed for innovation. Did you know Litecoin has helped test and pioneer new tech for the entire crypto world? For example, Litecoin adopted SegWit, segregated witness, before Bitcoin. It successfully deployed atomic swaps. It experimented with Mimblewimble privacy while still staying legal and optional. Many of these technologies were later adopted by other chains after Litecoin proved they could work. So while it may seem like the quiet crypto, Litecoin plays a huge role in pushing innovation forward safely and responsibly. Where Litecoin fits in the ecosystem. Think of Litecoin as the Swiss Army knife of digital money. Here's why. It's fast and cheap enough for daily use. It's secure enough for long-term savings. It's easy to integrate into wallets, exchanges, and payment systems. It's decentralized and battle-tested. It's now got optional privacy features through web. All that makes Litecoin an ideal medium of exchange. Bitcoin is slow but valuable digital gold. Ethereum is programmable but pricey digital oil. Litecoin is spendable, portable, and usable digital silver. Current adoption status. Despite the meme hype and DeFi frenzy, Litecoin is still ranked in the top 20 coins by market cap as of 2025. It's supported by every major exchange, integrated into payment apps and crypto debit cards, accepted by a growing number of merchants, backed by a loyal and global community. Even when hype dies down, Litecoin usage holds steady because it's not just a trend, it's a tool, or myths, misconceptions. Some people say Litecoin is just a copy of Bitcoin, that it has no innovation, or that it's outdated. But the truth is, Litecoin improves on Bitcoin with faster speeds, lower fees, and privacy options. It stays lean and focused, rather than bloated with hype features. It evolves slowly but smartly with long-term goals in mind. In crypto, the flashiest coins aren't always the best. Often the real value lies in stability and utility. Two things Litecoin delivers every day. What's next for Litecoin? So what does the future look like? Here are a few directions Litecoin could go. Greater merchant adoption. As crypto payment platforms grow, Litecoin could become a go-to coin for daily spending. Layer 2. Solutions. New technologies like Lightning Network compatibility could supercharge LTC speed even further. Mobile and card integration. Expect more wallet apps, crypto cards, and integrations in emerging markets, joining cross-chain interoperability. Litecoin might become a bridge coin connecting different blockchains and acting as a universal payment method. Privacy optional networks. With MWeb, Litecoin could lead the charge in giving users control over what they share and what they don't. Developing world finance. In regions where banking is broken or corrupt, Litecoin offers a borderless, trustless alternative. Final thoughts. Litecoin isn't just another cryptocurrency. It's a proven network, a reliable payment system, a simple but powerful economic model, a working alternative to banks and borders. And after over a decade of uptime, upgrades, and real-world use, it's clear Litecoin is here to stay. Whether you're a developer, an investor, or just someone curious about crypto, Litecoin deserves your attention, not because of hype, but because of what it actually delivers. It's not flashy, it's just solid. And sometimes solid is exactly what the world needs.